Coming up on this episode of the Designers of Change podcast.
How do we grow in difficult times?
Absolutely.
Because there are some times that you can't really stop, especially if you operate in a business, you are going through a difficult financial part. You cannot stop. You have to keep on moving despite the pain.
Welcome to episode 18, season 2 of Designers of Change podcast. We want to say a warm welcome to all our listeners on every streaming platform there is. If you're watching us on YouTube, I know you're seeing my beautiful face. I'm happy for that. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Now, Mr. Wright and I, we have spent quite a bit of time talking about planning and, all these different things, how to stretch to the new dimension. We spoke about entrepreneurship already for the start of 2026. But there's an important thing that we want to incorporate in our topics, and it's this one. How do you deal with difficult times? And that's something that every man, every human being will have to contend with in this journey called life.
Yeah, the thing is, Nas, I don't want to say babes. You say.
Love it.
The thing about life is that life spare the rod for no one.
No one.
And each and every one of us, we will be going through something. There are three truths about the issues or circumstance in life.
Yes.
It's either you are entering into a problem. You are either in a problem right now or you are getting out of problem.
Oh my word.
So life spare the rod for
Nobody.
one. But here's the thing. There are some problems in life that you may have to take a break. It is very catastrophic. If you are riding a bike and you fall off the bike, and you are injured, you probably have to heal before you get back on the bike again. But there are problems that we have to adapt the mindset. You have to take a licking and keep on ticking. And that is what we want to talk about today. How do we grow in difficult times?
Absolutely.
Because there are some times that you can't really stop, especially if you operate in a business, you are going through a difficult financial part. You cannot stop. You have to keep on moving despite the pain. There are some athletes that when there are some injury that you have to play through the pain.
I love that term
and in
so
this
much.
episode, we are going to learn, how do you play
Through the pain.
through the pain?
Because not all of us have the luxury of pausing to heal, right? What about the leaders out there? Many of you are hearing my voice right now and you're saying, but I'm the CEO. Nobody cares if I'm feeling down. And you're absolutely right. You're running an entire ship. And so as the captain of the ship, you will have to play through the pain. And that's why we're here today. Before we jump into this entire discussion, we want to say thank you to our amazing sponsors, Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International, Superlative Auto, Grace Creates, Amanda's Kitchen, Caribbean Gospel TV, Vibrant Creative Studio, and MAAD 97.5 FM all the way in Guyana.
Yes. And we are here. We are talking about playing through
The pain.
the pain.
And growing in difficult times. That's the discussion. And Mr. Wright made a really great analogy. When an athlete is injured, if it's an injury that he can bear, he can still work through the discomfort, he or she will have to play through the pain, they don't have the luxury of sitting down and healing, because if they do that, they may miss an entire season
Yes.
of
Yeah.
opportunities.
They say play through the niggles. Sometimes they say
Okay. Got
play
it.
with the
Got
niggle.
it. Got it.
But as an individual though, life doesn't stop because you are going through a problem. As a leader, you can't close an organization.
Yeah, because something is happening.
Because something pops up. It has to
Right.
keep on going, and you have to keep on growing. There's something that is catastrophic. We understand there's something that is catastrophic. But in those time, the individual will have to take some time off to heal. But if it is not so catastrophic, then you will have to go through the pain. Prior to this episode, Jace was talking about the attention economy,
Right.
where the traditional media, they are going through a bit of decline. They are now in a rough patch.
They are.
Because things are changing to the digital era, social media. Now, how does a leader, especially if you have a radio station, your advertisement money, that revenue that would have came in back then through advertisement, it has now switched.
Yes.
So you probably find you as a leader for that radio station, you probably find yourself in a pickle where you can't pay your staff, because those advertisement dollars would have been in social media now.
Right.
So how do you turn around your radio company in this trying time?
Absolutely.
How did Barnes and Nobles turn around when Amazon pops up? Because in 1997, if I'm correct, it's either 1997 or 1998, Barnes and Nobles had the opportunity to purchase Amazon for $12 million, and they didn't. And so Amazon started out selling book, and Amazon become this giant, take away Barnes and Nobles market share, reduce them to about 12 or 10%. But somehow in 2020, during the pandemic, Barnes and Nobles regained some kind of footing. They turn around it, and for those years, they were held captive by Amazon, just dominating the market. And so, as a person, when life gets radically tough, not even as a leader, but in your personal life, because you have found a way to emerge during those difficult periods, losing your parents, and then losing your grandmother. And so one have to develop a sense of resilience, because if you don't have
Absolutely.
resilience in this life,
Oh my word, it's pointless.
it's pointless.
It's pointless. You're not going to get anywhere. And that pretty much leads us into our first question. You know, during difficult times, how can one person cultivate the supposed resilience, right, in our work and our personal lives? And, you know, I have some tidbits. As Mr. Wright said, I've had to be tough growing up, going through different challenges. I mentioned it, you know, when we were opening about the becoming the leader, of some of the things that I went through, you know, losing my father very early, then my mother, my grandmother, having to go back to poverty, had to fight my way through university. And, you know, one thing I can tell you, when it comes to cultivating resilience, you just have to understand that life changes. That's the foremost thing. You have to remember, it doesn't matter what you're doing today, what title you're in, it doesn't matter what position, you could be the king of this world. Remember, change is inevitable. If you are going to be a resilient person, you have to remember that. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself the rug being pulled from underneath your legs.
Oh my. And you know, talking about this topic, it's very difficult, because the truth is, whenever we go through any difficult patch, it's very difficult to teach somebody how to react during a difficult
Because
patch.
we're all different.
Because we are all different. There's a story that I usually tell when you are teaching, especially when you are teaching about change or you are teaching about different difficult time. And you tell a story about the egg, the potato, and the
Coffee
the
bean.
coffee bean when they are hit with a bad circumstance. And you say when the potato hit the hot water, it goes in hard.
Yes.
And you have people like that. They are very hard during not good times. But when the potato hit the hot water, the potato becomes soft. The potato become a victim to life.
Absolutely. Crushed. Spirit crushed.
It's crushed.
Yes.
And then you talk about the egg. The egg is the egg went in. The egg is fragile on the inside. When this is a nice, sweet, gentle person when life is good. But when the egg hit hot water, the egg came out tough,
Hard, yeah.
hard. The egg become bitter. You have some people like that when they eat a negative circumstance, a difficult time, they become hard on the inside. They transform from a sweet, loving person. But you talk about the coffee bean, and now we want you to develop the mindset of the coffee bean. You say when the coffee hit the hot water,
Yep.
the coffee transformed that
The
hot
hot
water
water. Do you
to
believe that?
something good. But how do you develop this mindset though for a person that when you go into a difficult situation, you can transform that difficult. You don't become a victim of your circumstance. You don't become bitter, but you transform that
The circumstance
to something better.
So I mentioned the very first one is to understand that change is inevitable. All right. So that does two things. One, when I know that the circumstances must change, it means that if I'm going through a great time right now, I know a bad time is going to come, which is sad, right? But also, if I'm going through a really rough patch, I know good times will come.
Yes,
that
it's
leads me
seasonal.
to my second point. There's a thing called belief in self.
Yeah.
I don't care who on this earth come and tell me nothing. That one, you cannot move me. And, it will come off as though you're crazy, but it's the absolute truth. A resilient person is also someone who truly believes in themselves. First and foremost.
Can I
Yes.
can I throw something in it? Because you mentioned something, believe in yourself, which is true, but there are times when a person might hit something in life where that self-belief
Is inadequate.
So what I want to throw in that, because there are things in life that can test what you believe.
Of course.
And when you went through that, it proved that what you have believed is wrong. For example, but I'm coming with the point that I'm trying to make. For example, we have seen people who they were single and they teach marriage. But when they get married, they realize that the very thing that they were teaching about when they were single is not true because they are married now. When there's difficult times, sometimes you will have to borrow someone else's faith when you lose faith. If you're a person of faith, and let me explain this. If you're a person of faith and if you're not a person of faith, there was an incident in the Bible where a man was crippled and their friend took him and they tore a hole in the roof and they put that person at Jesus' feet. And Jesus said, this person was healed, not because of the crippled man faith, but because of his friend's faith. So when you are going through a difficult patch and you probably lost hope, you probably have to find someone who have been through the very thing that you are going through right now, and you can borrow their faith. Borrow some of their encouragement.
Powerful.
Did I say that
you,
right?
you said it right, but I don't want to lose our progression into the discussion. So let me repeat. The first thing I mentioned is that you have to understand this fundamental principle that change is inevitable.
Yes.
1. 2, you must have belief in self. It doesn't matter who your cheerleader is.
Yeah.
If you live long enough, you will find that even your greatest supporter can become your biggest enemy. You cannot lack faith in yourself. 2, 3, if it is that your faith is waning, right? If it is that your faith is dwindling, you must have people around you that you can borrow faith from.
Yeah.
They can lend you their faith, just as he mentioned with the story of the friends who brought the sick person to Jesus. They decided that, listen, we have to get the friend to this man. So let's put a hole in the roof and lower him down. And the man was healed, not because of himself. He couldn't get himself there. It was his friend's faith. So we're talking, these are some big hitters, but we're getting there.
So
Cultivating resilience requires those 3 things, and we're going to continue to add as we go along. But let's take a break here, and then when we pick it right back up, we're going to talk about some others. Stick and stay. Welcome back to episode 18 of the Designers of Change podcast. We are talking about something that I live. And this is growing in difficult times. Before we jump back into our discussion, we want to say a huge thank you to our partners, Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International, Superlative Auto, Grace Creates, Vibrant Creative Studio, Caribbean Gospel TV, MAAD 97.5 FM, all the way from Guyana, and Amanda's Kitchen. Now, Mr. Right, before we went on the break, we were talking about, 3 things. We mentioned 3 key things. They're not in any particular order, by the way. 3 things that will help you to cultivate resilience, right?
Yeah.
And it's good to recap them. Reiteration is very good. First one, I said you have to understand the fundamental principle that things will change.
Yeah, it will get better. Yeah.
Sometimes you're looking at your present circumstance and thinking that, I'm going to be broke forever. No. Sometimes you're looking and you say, boy, this is always my friend right there. No, right? Things will change. Understand that. The second thing I told you was belief in self. Absolutely important. You will find days and periods and seasons where your back is against the wall.
Yes.
And the only cheerleader you will see is the one in the mirror. That's important. When your faith is waning, you have to borrow and lean on other people's faith to take you through. What would be the 4th thing for you? I have something in mind, but I want to hear what you have to say.
You have to make adjustment.
Absolutely.
During difficult time. If you are traveling from Jamaica in January, it's sunny in Jamaica.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful in Jamaica. But when you leave Kingston, Jamaica, or Montego Bay, Jamaica, and you head to wherever it is in Canada, it will be snow.
It will be winter.
It will be winter. So you can't take Jamaica tropical clothing into Toronto or wherever you are going in Canada winter. Now, for the leader, if your business is going through a rough patch, let's say the economy is an economical change.
Right.
It's a technological change. It's a competitive change. In Jamaica, if we have been hit with a Category 5 hurricane last year, those business people, they will have to make adjustments.
Yeah, man. Some serious decisions have to be made.
If you are going to grow in a difficult time, whether it's in your personal life, you will have to make adjustment. If you are a business leader, you will have to make adjustment, because if you don't make adjustment, the difficult time will wipe you away.
Yes.
Kodak didn't make adjustment. Blockbuster didn't make adjustment. And we can go on and on and on and talk about businesses that are no longer around today
Around.
because they did not make the necessary adjustment in those times.
Fail to make those adjustments, which is absolutely important. You know, you mentioned some really great pointers there. There's one more that I want to add before
Yes,
we
go
jump
ahead.
into something else, and that is faith, right?
Yes,
So we
yeah.
talk about belief in self. You know, you mentioned borrowing the faith of your friends. Your faith must be grounded.
Yes,
And
yeah.
we like to talk about the fact that, you know, there is a rock of all ages, and that's God. I will always mention the skyscraper principle. The higher the building that is being built, the deeper the foundation. Think about that. The further the arrow needs to go, the more the arch needs to be pulled back. So if it is that you are going to do anything great in life, it means that you are going to be facing immense difficulties. There is no two ways about that. To the same degree that you have been challenged, is an equal degree that you will be blessed. And you cannot run out. It's a blessing and a burden. They come together, right? However, you have to have faith grounded enough, deep enough, that when the hard times come, when the difficult times come, you'll be able to withstand it.
Yeah, the wheat grow with the weed.
With the tears,
With the
yes.
tears.
Yes.
There are something in life that prevent that is an obstruction. For example, if an eagle, the only thing that prevents an eagle to fly faster is the wind. But if you were to remove the wind, the eagle will fly, will fall, because they need the resistance of the wind to keep the bird.
That's powerful, you know.
So the bird will be flying in a vacuum, and it
couldn't fly.
And it couldn't fly because they need
It's
the
the
wind.
wind that
Yeah.
pushes them.
So the very thing that is causing the eagle not to fly at full speed is the same thing that is keeping the bird up in the sky.
Boy,
That is why
that's-
the master teacher said, he said, don't pull up the weed, because the weed look exactly
like the wheat.
like the wheat. And so there are certain things in life that you may see that is preventing you, but it is the same thing that is pushing you forward. I'll give you another example. The very thing, when a snake bites someone, the vaccine is made from the snake venom. So the very thing that can kill you is the very thing that the
antivenom is the
antidote
venom.
from the venom. And so what is probably threatening your life, to prevent
Threatening your
you-
business,
threatening
threatening your
business,
family.
your family, is the very thing that propel you. Many billionaires and millionaires were born out of bankruptcy.
My God.
Were born out of bankruptcy. Probably a teacher label you as someone who can't read. You are probably not bright enough. But if you can use that to propel you forward, you can use that to ensure that you study, you become intelligent. And so the very thing right now, that very tough time, you can turn that into a tailwind. You know, surprisingly, I love to watch why business fail. And many times, babes, the thing that propel a business forward, the tailwind that propel a business forward, is the very thing that cause a business to die. Because that tailwind becomes a headwind and kill the business. Because in life, things change. That is why we said, never judge a circumstance too quick. The thing that you may say is a very, very best thing that happened to me, couple of years down the road, it can be the worst thing that ever happened to you. And the worst thing that happened to you today, many, many years down the road, it could be the very best thing that happened to you. So don't be quick
To judge a
to
situation.
judge a situation. Try as best as possible to grow through it, to seek advice, mentorship, and try to extrapolate the opportunity out of that circumstance.
You know, as I listen to you, I am so stirred internally, because sometimes we know this, we teach it, but hearing it is a reminder that, you know, if we just change our
Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah.
if we look at the problem another way, we'll see that this
Yeah,
may be
Wayne
the
Dyer.
very, yes, if you change the way you look,
Look
at
at
things, the
things.
things you look at change. And I know there are persons right there, right out there right now, who are thinking to themselves, what if I'm wrong about this negative situation that I am going through? And so you want to maintain a positive outlook regardless. Here's another thing that I want us to talk about a little bit. Now, difficulty is difficulty all around. For one person, it may be sickness. For another person, it may be a family issue. For another person, it may be finance problems in their business. Whatever the case is difficulty all around. How important is it to make sure that we have mental health support along the journey? Because let me tell you something. I know people right now who have a lot of responsibilities and they are sick, dying. They cannot sleep. They don't eat because they are literally being eaten alive by the issues they are facing.
Yeah, you need people. The first problem God found in creation, it was not good for a man to be alone. You need people. One of the wisest man who ever lived, Solomon, he said, 2 is better than 1. That is why everything that is created on this earth, it was designed to produce in 2. You need H2O for water, hydrogen and oxygen. You need a sperms and a egg to create life. Wherever 2 or more gather in my name, it
Powerful.
will happen. And so 2, you need.
Can I add another one to that? 1 shall chase 1,000.
Exactly.
And 2, how much? 10,000.
10,000.
That's not even logical maths right there.
So
That's
it's
compound effect.
compound effect. So you need the power of 2 in anything. It's the power of 2. So you need people. You need people in your inner circle. You need people who you can lean on. You need people who you can call up. So when you are going through anything, I think one of the greatest danger when we are going through anything, we always believe that we are the only person going through this.
And it's not true.
And it's not true.
It's
There's
not
always
true.
someone out there who can help you, who can hold your hand
And guide you through
and
it.
guide you through the dark times, because we need people. Go ahead.
Okay, finish your point.
No,
I'm
man,
sorry.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
All right. So you were pretty much saying that you need people, you need support that will help you through this very mentally challenging times. I would like to just say that let us not forget that we still have internal work to be done. And so while we have friends and family to support us, or whomever you have to support you, do not be afraid to turn to a professional if needs be.
Yes.
Right? So yes, we believe the word of God. Yes, we have faith. But some problems, you literally have to find a professional. I can share one such issue that I found that affects me even till this day. Remember when we had a particular business venture, that thing traumatized me so much that even till this day, years after, I still wake up with panic attacks at certain periods of the week, because that's what I used to live through. Because of the anxiety of having to stay up to do payroll and all these different things. Years after, I still, like, you would just have some Fridays where I just cannot function. And so you have to get help. You have to get help if needs be. Right? So the faith works in tandem with also finding professionals to help you. And understand this, there's nothing that is more important than your mental health, separate and apart from your relationship with God. You won't even be able to enjoy your family. You won't even be able to enjoy life itself. So we have to protect that and your well-being. Don't neglect taking care of yourself, exercising, eating right. All these things are important while you're going through challenging times. Let me add really quickly, just before we close out, that if you find that you are so challenged as you go through this difficult period that you have to reduce taking phone calls, that's okay. If you find that you need to get some more sleep, that's okay. If you can't respond to everybody at the time that they want you to, that is okay. Because guess what? Life is hard and you have to take it step by step.
Yeah.
Okay?
In the book, The Road Less Travel, it starts out and say, life is difficult, and that's a great truth. And he said, once you accept that life is difficult, life is no longer difficult. But for those out there, we want you, and it's our wish, it's my prayer as well, that when challenging time comes, we grow through it. So we don't want you to be like the potato.
Right.
You are a very robust individual. You are a very robust individual. But when life hits you, you become a victim. We don't want that to be like, we don't want you to be like the potato. We don't want you to be like the egg either. You're a nice, soft, loving person. You're a tender-hearted. You help everybody. But when life hits you, you become hard. When the egg hits the hot water, it becomes hard. You become bitter towards life, because many people have become bitter towards life. And we don't want you to be like the potato. You become a victim once you're hit by hot water. But we want you to be like the coffee. When the coffee hits hot water, the coffee, it's a transformational leader.
Absolutely.
It turned that water into something nice, and we add the coffee mate to it, and we drink it, we sip it.
So in other words, the coffee says, oh, you think you're going to destroy me, but watch out. I'm going to change you for the better. Indeed, a change agent, because it changed the taste, it changed the smell, it changed the look, everything transformed. And that's what we want you to be, a designer of change.
Yes.
And so we thank you for sticking and staying with us for episode 18, Growing Through Difficult Times. This one has a special place in my heart. Again, we want to say thank you to all our amazing sponsors.
Yes.
We'll see you in episode 19.
And subscribe on
YouTube. Make sure you're following us. Comment on whatever streaming platform that you're downloading this episode on. We are excited to know that we are charting in Apple podcast charts in our region, and we just look forward to more exciting news. Blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Designers of Change podcast. Join us on the next episode.